Ever since our last episode, where we answered Mr. Number One's request to audit the overdue dictator, Vladimir Putin, things have gone downhill for him. Now, he's not only getting blasted daily by Ukrainian drones, but he's even drafting senior citizens to the front lines as cannon fodder. It seems the big boss upstairs actually watches our channel and is quietly hitting the fast forward button on destiny. Speaking of acceleration, how could we possibly overlook the CCP's supreme leader, the great Accelerator himself, Xi Jinping? This dictator, who personally deploys and commands every disaster, has pushed 1.4 billion people to the brink of a collective nervous breakdown. Looking through the Bible, we found that God's Book of Life algorithm must be lagging, allowing this globally recognized king of reversing to remain in power, stepping on the gas in reverse. While Putin fills Ukraine with missiles, the helmsman of this Eastern autocracy operates in a far more surreal dimension. In his 14-year reign, using foolish policy documents, barbaric lockdowns, and endless political purges, his precision in tormenting lives and draining wealth easily eclipsed Putin's. With this public audit, we'd like to remind the big boss upstairs, the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant might still be en route, but your shuttle bus to hell should probably head to Zhongnanhai right about now. Xi Jinping took the reins in 2012. By 2018, he dropped all pretenses, weaponizing his power to amend the Constitution and strip away the two-term limit. Along the way, under the guise of anti-corruption, he purged rivals, confiscated private assets, and squandered billions on the Belt and Road Initiative, claiming to guide the direction of mankind. He genuinely believes that without him, the regime will fall. But in reality, he has successfully accelerated the country straight to a cliff. Under the rule of this economic illiterate, China's fiscal system is imploding, driving desperate everyday citizens to trigger random violent attacks across the nation out of pure despair. To settle this account, we must understand how this deeply paranoid dictator transformed a once profitable system into a suffocating red monster. Analyzing Xi's governance reveals an absurd pattern. He is a genius at infighting, but an utter fool at governing. The more absolute his power becomes, the more spectacularly China's economy crumbles. As a teenager during the Cultural Revolution, Xi watched his high-ranking father get purged, was sent down for forced labor, and even lost a sister to the chaos. Yet when his family was rehabilitated, instead of loathing the system that broke his home, he developed a pathologically submissive worship of absolute totalitarian power. Post-Deng Xiaoping, China moved toward collective leadership and term limits to block the rise of another dictator. Xi, cloaked in a submissive and mediocre persona, became the compromise candidate in 2012 when rival factions crippled each other. But the moment he took the throne, he swung the heavy axe of anti-corruption, ruthlessly wiping out any potential threat with Mao-style brutality. In the previous eras, elite families monopolized astronomical wealth, much like Russian oligarchs. Xi broke the unwritten rule of immunity for top leaders, jailing titans like Zhu Yongkang, Ling Jihua, and Sun Jiansai. Recently, this frantic political purge has consumed his own inner circle. 9 hand-picked generals were axed from the party and military overnight. Military Vice Chair He Weidong was expelled, with overseas intelligence alleging he committed suicide, his true fate unknown. Another vice chair, Zhang Yusha, was reportedly extracted by rival factions post-fall and remains in a cloud of house arrest. Even his former anti-corruption general Wang Qishan saw his decades-old financial network dismantled, with close aides sent to prison. Under this reign of terror, officials frequently fall from buildings, a high-altitude wave of unusual deaths. While Beijing never explains the behind-the-scenes redistribution of resources, it is obvious that this selective anti-corruption campaign is designed to wipe out disloyal double agents, reshuffling control over the military, defense industries, and finance to soothe the dictator's deep-seated power anxiety. By his second term, with political rivals eliminated, Xi removed term limits and enshrined his personal thought into the Constitution, attempting to duplicate Mao's personality cult. But he forgot that no amount of internet censorship can erase the human desire for freedom. Under his watch, China became the world's leading exporter of fleeing citizens, while foreign capital fled the former world factory due to geopolitical risks. Starved of capital, the domestic market turned into a hyper-competitive meat grinder, triggering economic collapse. Paranoid and obstinate, he loves forming specialized committees, appointing himself as the head of everything, eager to show the direction for global industries. Tragically, the harder he tries, the more catastrophic his policies become. When Jack Ma stood alongside world leaders with Taobao and Alipay, leading foreign media to call Ma a far more formidable leader than Xi suppressed his intense jealousy until Ma publicly criticized Chinese state banks. Xi immediately crushed the Ant Group IPO and forced Ma out of his own empire. In the years that followed, his catastrophic guidance annihilated DiDi, e-commerce, online gaming, and the entire private tutoring industry. To maintain legitimacy, he stoked blind nationalism and launched a $1 trillion domestic chip-making campaign to surpass the West, which dissolved into total financial fraud, resulting in the head of Tsinghua Unigroup being sentenced to death. TikTok was forced to accept state ownership, triggering global bans over data security. BYD, built on state subsidies, is imploding from massive supplier debts and spontaneous battery fires while running straight into a wall of Western tariffs. In a market as massive as China, no corporate titan survives the kiss of death that is Xi Jinping's personal guidance.
Throughout his 14 years in power, Xi's diligence has yielded 4 blood-soaked indictments on both the domestic and international stages. First, the Belt and Road Initiative has evolved into a global debt trap and a breeding ground for transnational crime. This $1 trillion strategy is, at its core, a predatory loan sharking scam that has now backfired into a financial weapon destroying China's own banks. It bankrupted Sri Lanka over the Hambantota port, forcing a 99-year lease surrender, and dragged over 20 nations into sovereign insolvency. Even worse, the BRI has exported systemic corruption and shoddy engineering, evidenced by the collapse of a 30-story audit building in Thailand before its opening, the collapse of Kenya's Sigiri Bridge before completion, and frequent accidents on Indonesia's high-speed rail. Concurrently, it paved the way for organized crime in Cambodia, turning the Indo-China Peninsula into a safe haven for cyber scams, human trafficking, and black market organ harvesting, forcing democracies like Italy and the Philippines to defect. Second, wolf warrior diplomacy has shattered China's international credibility and fueled intense domestic rage. During the COVID-19 pandemic, his hand-picked diplomatic thugs set fire to global relations. Figures like Zhao Lijian aggressively deflected blame and blocked transparent WHO investigations into the virus's origins, forcing the world to decouple from Chinese manufacturing. To project an illusion of a global empire, he engaged in reckless splurging diplomacy, throwing billions at foreign regimes, only for half of those promises to bounce or be stolen by corrupt foreign officials. With domestic economy tanking, this extreme practice of rewarding foreigners while starving his own citizens has triggered volcanic domestic resentment. Third, absolute ignorance of market economics has manufactured both financial and humanitarian catastrophes. In 2015, his administration mishandled a stock market bubble, resulting in a crash, while permitting massive peer-to-peer Ponzi schemes like e-Zubao to wipe out the life savings of the middle class. His signature dynamic zero-COVID political crusade pushed the economy into a Great Depression. Cruelly, the regime abruptly abandoned the policy in late 2022 with zero medical preparation, unleashing a tidal wave of excess deaths estimated by researchers to be between 710,000 and nearly 3 million lives. Fourth, the extraction of private wealth has induced an epic demographic collapse. Under the ruse of common prosperity, any private enterprise that succeeds is hit with astronomical fines. Even tech founders who migrated to Singapore were lured back to China to have their asset sales cancelled. The multi-billion-dollar Xi'an area has become the world's grandest ghost town. Crushing survival pressure has forced the youth into a four-no's existence: no marriage, no kids, no job, no property. Consequently, births in 2025 plummeted below 8 million, regressing to levels not seen since 1738 during the Qing dynasty. The nation has aged before getting rich. Starved of foreign capital and hit with global tariffs, the export engine has died, leaving unemployed university graduates to fight over food delivery and ride-hailing gigs.
For a dictator who spent decades hiding his claws to reach the apex, a master of backstabbing but an absolute illiterate in governance, who broke the world's second-largest economy, the Almighty has coded 3 endings into the cosmic ledger, each rich with dark irony. Ending 1. Hyperacute rejection on the VIP operating table. It is an open secret that the CCP elite utilizes a vast forced organ harvesting pool to artificially extend their lifespans, but cheating death invites divine retribution. One day, to prolong his autocracy, Xi lies down on a black budget operating table for a fresh organ swap. But this time, the cosmic algorithm glitches. A fatal hyperacute rejection response triggers mid-surgery. Alternatively, the vengeful remnants of a military general he purged have bought off the chief surgeon, tampering with the anesthesia. The Supreme Emperor ends up brain-dead, hooked to cold machines on a stainless steel table, a poetic casualty of the very human organ supply chain he weaponized. Ending 2. The double-agent mutiny inside Zhongnanhai. Knowing that stepping down means absolute ruin, Xi's only survival strategy is to force a 4th term at next year's 21st Party Congress. But this pressure has turned the regime into a pressure cooker. When local governments default and healthcare funds dry up, sparkline riots will erupt nationwide. Starved of funding, the Central Guard Bureau tasked with protecting Zhongnanhai goes on a quiet strike. Seizing the moment, disgruntled generals and inner-circle sycophants who worship him by day but plot by night will launch a midnight coup to buy their safety with the next regime. Xi will be arrested by his own trusted lapdogs, facing the executioner's block of a new cultural revolution. Ending 3. The blowback failure and the puppet's noose. With a bankrupt state, Xi cannot afford another grand systemic error. If he sparks a war over Taiwan to legitimize his 4th term, paranoid military officers will realize it's safer to assault Zhongnanhai than Taiwan. Once the war stalls, inviting global sanctions, Xi will either face surgical decapitation or a frontline military mutiny, fracturing the country into warlordism. Alternatively, to dodge the frontline risk, he might deploy a puppet ruler and pull strings from the shadows like Putin. But amid an economic depression, keeping a puppet loyal is impossible. Terrified of being cast as the scapegoat for a broken country, the puppet might orchestrate a quiet assassination using Xi's dead body as a stepping stone for political reform. With his oldest allies liquidated, even his top cronies know no one is safe. Everyone around him is just waiting for him to die to seize the crown. Some might argue that Xi hasn't orchestrated a purge on the scale of Mao's Cultural Revolution, nor has he caused tens of millions to starve in the Great Leap Forward. He's just a greedy politician who wants to rule forever. Why is the world so eager to see him stand before God's tribunal? Isn't his sheer incompetence accelerating the collapse of the CCP anyway? The core issue is that his greed and unearned confidence have crossed the line, slow killing too many innocent lives. Had he not broken the Constitution, weaponized diplomacy, or built loan-sharking empires, and instead maintained a low profile, China could have kept coasting on its global factory status. Instead, to cement his rule, he stoked xenophobic nationalism, initiated ethnic cleansing camps in Tibet and Xinjiang, menaced international waters with naval threats against Taiwan, and harassed South China Sea neighbors. Worse, the cover-up of COVID-19 and the mass export of fentanyl precursors caused millions of casualties worldwide, augmented by weapons supplies to rogue states. This proves that Xi's regime values personal power over any amount of human life. The time has come for him to pay the bill for this global disaster. If this global cancer falls in our prediction tonight, which of the 3 endings do you think he will meet? Organ rejection on the VIP table? A double-agent coup inside Zhongnanhai? Or catastrophic policy blowback? Or perhaps you envision a more creative exit for him?
Leave your funniest thoughts in the comments and let us know which overdue villain you want audited next. See you in the next life.
Hey, still here? Enjoying the despair of your past life, aren't you? Did that past life make you shout WTF inside? If yes, welcome back. You've regained your memory. Trust me, you are so much happier now. Since you survived, support this down and out angel. Like and subscribe to keep the updates flowing. It won't send you to heaven, but it lets me stay here with you in hell. See ya.